And here we are with Gary Fjellgaard. How are you today, Gary?
I'm just fine, Greg.
That's great. So you are a busy man, just finishing up a show out in Alberta here?
That's right. We're doing the Rocky Mountain Cowboy Festival. And just a lot of fun, a great weekend. And immediately before that, we were in Europe. So traveling around there with my opening act, Saskia and Daryl, who will be with me on Wednesday night. So,
yeah, that's going to be a pretty exciting time. You are very popular over in Europe, Scandinavia, and that sort of thing.
Well, years ago I was involved with going over to the Netherlands several times, and they voted me most promising male vocalist of the year, and in that category that year was Ricky Van Shelton and Katie Lang and Lyle Lovett. But I had been the only one over there in that particular circle of people, so they voted for me, which is kind of neat.
Yeah, that's it's interesting, especially with the accolades that you have through your career already.
Well, I just it's all a pat on the back, and I think it's just wonderful. And the kind of music that we do, or that I do, is I'm very fortunate that it's the kind of music that can last down through the years, and people can sit back and relax and listen to the lyrics and sort of get involved with the story. And, we don't always take ourselves too seriously, and we have a lot of fun on stage, and generally just try to make people comfortable and make ourselves comfortable with the people, and it's just a great visit.
Well, your music and the stories behind it and just sort of the whole experience really goes back to your boyhood.
Oh yeah, I get a lot of songs out of those early days on the prairies when we were still farming with horses, and it all left a big impression on me. And of course, back then all we had for entertainment was the old battery radio set and our imaginations. And we're still farming with horses, so we're going for the cows bareback, and it's just all those things come into play with the songwriting. And then I moved out to British Columbia as a young man and became a logger for many, many years, and met my sweetheart, and we're still together. It'll be 52 years in July, so it's all song research, Greg.
That's fantastic to hear. So many couples involved in the music business and show business in general just don't last. It's nice to hear a story like that.
Well, the business itself is very demanding, and that's why I say I'm very fortunate to be involved in the kind of music that I do. It's not like a high-pressure thing, and you don't need a band and a bus, and you don't need the flash and the glitter and all the lights and the big sound and everything. It's just a very comfortable, peaceful kind of music.
Now, you still like to revisit the past as you had when you were a young guy. You are still involved in trail rides and cattle drives and all that sort of thing?
Well, that was all song research too. So, I've dragged my wife out on cattle drives and wagon treks and river trips and pack trips and hunting trips back in the mountains, and it's just been in fact, I got a song called Grand Old Ride that sort of describes that part of our lives. But again, you draw on the experiences that you have. If you're a songwriter, you draw on your own experience and try and make it believable and truthful, and it comes from an honest place. So it has a ring of truth, and that's, I think, that the key to the longevity in this business.
Well, you hit it right on the head, when you said the honesty. The honesty in the music is what really touches the people and keeps them listening.
Yeah, once in a while I get involved with teaching song. I might be a facilitator at a songwriting seminar or something, and I think that's one of the elements of a good song is that has to have that ring of truth, or that honesty, or that place that comes from the heart or whatever, and that's very important in songwriting.
You had mentioned earlier when we were chatting some of the names of the artists that you've had the opportunity to work with. Anybody in particular that you really, really struck a chord with?
Well, you know, the one that I'm very, very proud of, because my grandchildren were so impressed when I told them that I opened up for Johnny Cash once, and that was that Johnny Cash movie that came out. Mm-hmm. Of course, they had seen that, and they realized that Johnny Cash was, like a big star and everything. Grandpa, you worked with Johnny Cash, so that was kind of special, really. And yeah, I had the opportunity to work with, to open for people like George Jones and Ferlin Husky and Farron Young and people like that, and Hank Snow.
It's fun when you get that opportunity. Now, I know a lot of those artists were an influence on you when you were younger, so that's really a real blessing for you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you just, and I guess that's maybe what I'm missing today, is that I hear some of the today's country music, and it's everything, actually it sounds great, but it sounds the same. Like back then, there used to be these individual voices that you would hear, or the individual style of music, the opening chords. You knew who it was that was going to be singing, so sort of that. I find that missing today in some of the music, so...
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. And again, you really hit the nail on the head by everybody really had a distinct style, and yourself as well, when you hear your voice and some of the songs that you sing, you know right off who it is.
Well, sometimes I get accused of being like Gordon Lightfoot, and I've got to take that as a compliment, because I think in the genre of music that we do is the old troubadour style of music. When that first person left their village thousands of years ago to sing and to travel about the country, singing about their lives and what they've experienced, and that's that balladeer, troubadour style of music that Gordon Lightfoot, of course, is so successful at. So it's natural to get, compared to that kind of music.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Now, you've had a nice history, like we were talking earlier, about the artists that you've worked with, one of them being Valdy. You guys are island friends.
We are indeed, and Valdy and I go back a long ways, back to the 70s, when he recorded a song that I wrote called Me and Martin. And since then, Valdy's been sort of that folk god to me. So, and to get an opportunity to work with him, and we work together quite a bit, and over the years, and it's just great. He's wonderful to work with, and he's the absolute professional. He's so entertaining on stage, and I learned a lot from the guy.
Yeah, it's nice when you get the opportunity to be able to share the stage and share your talents. Songwriting, I imagine it's just a joy to be able to write with someone like that.
Absolutely, write with somebody like that, and then get out there on stage and do it. Just I always say, like, you write a song, it's you might as well trot it out on stage and play it for people. Whether it's down on a disc or not, it doesn't matter. You just write the song and get out there and do it.
Some of the most exciting ones are the ones that people have never heard before.
Absolutely.
Now, what's new? What's new with Gary? What's going on in the Fjellgaard camp?
Well, I'm going to probably start on another CD pretty quick. It's probably time I did another one, and it'll be probably very acoustic. And working with Daryl and Saskia too has been a joy. And we just got back from this tour of Europe, and we played in Germany and Switzerland and the Netherlands. In fact, we got to play at the Canada's ambassador in Switzerland at his residence. Wow. For a reception for invited guests and whatnot. It was very, very nice.
That's a fantastic gig.
And Saskia, she has a voice, very ethereal kind of voice, and kind of spooky, and she does her and I do a Leonard Cohen song together, which is that song Hallelujah, and it just it sends shivers up your spine. Her voice is very, very ethereal, kind of spooky, kind of sounding, and it's just, and Daryl is a wonderful, wonderful guitar player and songwriter, so we have a lot of fun out there on the stage and traveling.
How did you guys get hooked up together?
Saskia was involved with a Christmas charity CD once for a food bank, mainly in the Revelstoke area, Invermere, in that area, and so Valdy and I got involved with that, and we got to know her. and then we did a few songs together, did a few shows together, and then it sort of stuck. We thought, hey, if we get a chance to work together, let's work together. And she's been doing some booking, so it's been booking for me, so it's been working out really good.
Yeah, it's nice when, again, you can team up with artists that you respect and that you have a lot of fun with and that you enjoy listening to them. Makes it for a nice, enjoyable evening for yourself as well.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned that you're kind of penning, so I suppose you're always busy writing new material and trying new stuff out. So the latest albums, I was just taking a look on your website, the Contenders 2 is up, and you have a Christmas CD.
That's I forgot about the Christmas CD because Christmas is over. But I've had these Christmas songs kicking around for a lot of years, and they were on different compilation CDs here and there when I was with a record company, and so I finally gathered up all these songs and put them on one disc, and then recorded some new Christmas material too. So I have a Christmas CD out, and then the last one with Valdi, Contenders 2. Still in the running, and that's a song I wrote for Valdi and I to do. We're still out there in the row. We're still, we're reluctant to relinquish our spots on the stage yet, even though there's a whole queue of people waiting in the wings to take our place, and we're still going to, get out there and do it.
Well, sometimes you just can't replace the old guard.
Well, it's just, it's a lot of fun. The Contenders, originally we did this Contenders CD, and Contenders was a song actually I wrote too for Valdi and I as a vehicle for that, for our project. And it was such an easy song to write. You wouldn't believe it. Just, Valdi's verse, I could have been a sailor. My verse, I could have been a cowboy, but we are still contenders. And it's such a good fit.
Now, you have got a very deep catalog. Do you change your music up from show to show, or do you pretty much have a set list?
Not really. I play it by ear a lot. Like you say, I have a lot of songs to choose from, and some areas people expect maybe certain songs. If I'm in Saskatchewan, I have to do songs like 10 Years Old and Barefoot and Heroes and As Rivers Run, Saskatchewan, songs like that. And Alberta, now I've had a lot of success with a song that I recorded many years ago, but that I had written originally for a movie. But a young fellow by the name of Brett Kissel, young upstanding future star, he recorded the song "Dance with This Old Cowboy," and I did a duet with him, and he had a hit with it.
That's a great song, and gets a lot of requests and a lot of airplay on our station.
Yeah, so, and then he's since done another album, and we did another duet with another one of my songs, too, so hopefully that'll be down the line somewhere. Maybe you'll have another hit with that. So it's great. Young Brett he's an up-and-comer, I'll tell you. The kid is very, very talented.
He did a show just the other day, matter of fact, at the Corral. So it's going to be exciting that the stage will still be warm from
Brett. Yeah, we're actually going to be performing together too at the Stony Plain Cowboy Music Gathering.
Oh, well, that's
coming up pretty soon too.
That'll be exciting. What is on the agenda for you over the next little while?
Well, that show comes to mind right off the bat. Now, I'm not sure what the date is, but Stony Plain, I think we're on a Friday night, sort of like a dinner theater kind of thing, and Greg and I will be performing together. Well, we'll get backstage and we'll run over a few songs, and then we'll go out there on stage and do them. And so that is up, and I'm doing a festival up in Tallel on the Queen Charlotte Islands with Valdi. And one in Fort St. James, actually, that's with Valdi too. And I got some different things coming up. Little rodeos here and there, and little festivals.
And it's fun. When we were talking about the ability for you to reach back in your catalog, it makes it a lot of fun, being that you are just an individual artist. You're up there with your guitar. There's no huge set list. You don't have to be sequenced or anything. You can kind of play what you like.
Absolutely. I got total freedom up there on stage, and it's like I said earlier, we don't take ourselves too seriously. We usually have a lot of fun with the audience and get real comfortable, and and swap a few stories.
Yeah, it's all about the spontaneity.
Absolutely.
Well, that's wonderful, Gary. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us, and we look forward to your upcoming performance.
I hope we get a few folks out Wednesday night, and we'll see you there.
That's great. Gary Fjellgaard, thank you so much.
Thanks, Greg.